I was at Trees and Fishes Retreat in Vanuatu fishing with a group of mates. Each morning we would head off on their boats for a blue water fishing adventure. After a full day, the skipper suggested for a change of pace, we try some deep water fishing close to a nearby island where the water is still nearly 300 metres deep.
And I tell you what, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things living down in the bottom in Vanuatu at that depth of water. It'll take about 3-4 minutes for the lines to get down there. We've got massive electric reels and about 6 baits per rig. So in a few minutes, hopefully we'll get a few bites, pulling up something very interesting from the deep.
Using some fresh skipjack tuna we'd caught earlier, we rigged large circle hooks and sent the rig that included a light into the depths.
So we're 2 minutes in and the line's still going down, so we can't be too far away.
Once the line reached the bottom, you actually hand line it to feel the bites and strike the fish. Thankfully, the electric reels made life easy.
Look at these beautiful ruby snapper I just pulled up. Aren't they beauties?
Okay, as Adam said, you never know what you're going to get. And we've got a couple of beautiful long-tail ruby snapper.
What we've got is 2 different species, long-tail and short-tail. Both beautiful eating.
One of the big secrets we learned while fishing in Vanuatu was how to catch flying fish on lures. This was a really new thing to me. The technique was to slow troll with some small unweighted soft baits about 50 metres behind the boat. Every day we caught good numbers of flying fish. Flying fish are pretty much bottom of the food chain, as everything ate them, including coral trout, dogtooth tuna, sailfish and marlin. In fact, each bait that we sent down would leave you wondering what was going to take it. I'm sure that if we use this technique for catching flying fish in New Zealand, it will account for many big game fish. This time it was a giant trevally on the downrigger. Most of the fishing was done around fads, or fish aggregation devices set in 700 metres of water in an area known as the Marlin Highway. As anyone who has fished for marlin will tell you, getting a bite is one thing, keeping them on the hook is another.
Marlin 1, boat 0.
We had barely reset the lures when all hell broke loose. This was a solid hookup.
How was that for a strike?
Not bad at all. That was a good strike. Good strike, good jump.
Well, it's the 3rd strike we've had in about 20 minutes. John dropped the first 2. If he doesn't take this one home tonight, he's in big trouble.
John now had to keep the line tight and whine when the fish was not running.
Nice fish, finally.
Of all the marlin, the blue marlin said to be probably the hardest fighting of them. They're very muscular and powerful. They got huge tails. So John's got his work cut out here. Really exciting strike though, because we had one hit this side. He probably came across and took the other one, and it was all on. Magic.
The marlin was getting close to the boat and it sounded, which meant it went down deep. This is the toughest way to fight a big fish.
Tell you, for ultimate game fishing, this is about the best you can do.
John was getting tired and we had to encourage him to concentrate on his technique.
One down, one down. Lift. Lift. One down. Drop faster, drop faster. Go down. That's it, line, lift. The rain's pouring. The water's blue.
Fish are on.
The blue marlin was brought alongside by the crew. It was a feisty fish that needed to settle down before the hooks were removed, so as not to damage itself or hook a crew member with a loose hook. The bill of a marlin is very rough and can easily rip skin from the flesh, so good gloves are essential to handle them safely.
That was amazing.
At the end of our trip, the team enjoyed a great barbecue at Trees and Fishes, recounted fish caught and lost, and soaked up the Vanuatu vibe. Coming up, Darren dives some Texas oil rigs and finds out everything's bigger in Texas.
Beautiful fish like that everywhere. Today I'm coming to you from Houston, Texas. We're on a highway heading out to the coast and we're going to dive some oil rigs. I'm in one of those cars with the steering wheel on the wrong side, but we're managing to do okay without hitting anybody else. On the oil rigs we're going to be diving for red snapper and maybe cobia, and I'm not sure what else. We understand the water's a bit dirty, but it's very warm. It's about 27 degrees on the surface.
We found the dock in our boat for the day. A quick briefing, load up of our gear, and we're away down the harbour. It was all new countryside to us, so it was really interesting. We had about an hour ride out to the rigs that were spread out all over the horizon.
How much current? There'll be a bit of current here?
Yeah, a little bit. All the fresh water's flowing out pretty heavy right now. All this is river water on top.
So we've got to dive down a few feet and it's nice and clear underneath.
Yeah, about 15, 20 feet.
And then dirty on the bottom.
Yep,
So it's that mid-water stuff where the fish are.
yep.
We soon had our boat tied to the rig. Keith wanted to dive with us, so the boat needed to be secure.
That'll work.
I must say, the dirty water made me a little hesitant, but once down a few metres, I was pleasantly surprised. There are so many fish here. The rig certainly made a great structure for fish to gather. Lots were new species to us. I had heard there could be big barracuda here. I wasn't disappointed. This is a barracuda, not like the barracuda we have in New Zealand. With little wetsuit on, things like jellyfish needed to be avoided. A sting could ruin your day. We also needed to avoid the barnacles on the pylons with our bare legs. Jackson and I go on the hunt for the pink snapper that should be here. We drop deeper down. In no time they appear out of the gloom. I take my time for a kill shot. The Weddy Predator 130 does the job. This one gave me the perfect shot. Meanwhile, Jackson's gone even deeper. He's fighting something reasonably big, trying to get it out from underneath the rig's structure. It's a nice cobia, sometimes mistaken for a small shark. They're great eating and can fight very hard if they're not hit right. This one's pretty well hit it. I admire my first pink snapper. The dirty water layer on the surface doesn't really allow you to see how beautiful these fish are. They're so bright. I've never seen a fish like it. Underwater they do look very similar to ours. Jackson's back on the hunt for a big one for himself. Sometimes with this many fish, it's hard to pick out a good one. He's certainly having to swim hard to bring it up. He can't have hit it that well. His shot was a little low but effective. They're such great quality fish. Our spearing doesn't seem to bother the other fish, and the big cooter is still on the prowl.
So we've just come over to one of the oil rigs. These are a natural gas rig, and that noise is to keep boats away. But we're going to go diving here for more of these pink snapper. So these things are spread out all around us, and they're a great fad for fish. So that's why there's so many fish here. They live all around these rigs because it's a very flat bottom here. We're about 30 miles offshore, and it's been very flat bottom all the way out. It's only just got to about 25 metres out here. So it's looking good.
This time Jackson and I help out Griff, my youngest son. Jacko takes him down to where the snapper are. This rig is also loaded with fish. It doesn't take Griff long to get amongst them. There's so many here. A good shot on a big one has him struggling to raise it. He does the wise thing and lets it go. It's a long way back up and he pushed the dive. Back on the surface he regains his float line and works the fish up. It's a beauty. Jacko's on hand to assist. Great to have a big brother in this situation.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Better be good. Get it first try.
So we're on rig number 2, and there's lots of fish here, as there was on the other rig. And Griffin has been very, very seasick, and he's jumped back in and he's got one of those snapper. I'm very proud of him because it's a bit of an achievement for anybody that's been seasick. You know how horrible it is. And here's his fish here.
Griffin fish.
I'll hold it.
Well done, mate.
Hey, great fish. You want to hold it for the camera? Nice.
Nice fish.
You got him, mate? So that's what a healthy fishery looks like that's been looked after. That's a great end to a really good day diving the rigs out of Houston.
Next, Kirk gets into all sorts of drama when fishing Fraser Island on the jet ski.
Oh, we got a double. Fraser Island Spanish mackerel. You can see the area we're trolling. We're so close to land. We're only about 100 metres off land in about probably 6 or 7 metres of water. And it's real clear, the water's real clear. You can see bait fish, see big schools of bait, and you can see dolphins, everything. Such a spectacular place. Beautiful place, Fraser Island. It's actually a really big attraction to people who come to this part of Australia. They'll drive here, you can get on a ferry, go across, four-wheel drive up the beach. We came across on the ski, obviously. But yeah, such an awesome place.
When trolling lures around the beautiful clear waters of Fraser Island, you can almost forget that you are there to catch fish. But it didn't take long before Keston and Jace got some action.
You are starting to get pulled to it now.
These fish pulled a lot of line when they hooked up, so it wasn't initially clear what they'd hooked.
Are you both on? What were you trolling?
In fact, it turned out they both had some very respectable golden trevally.
What is it, little tunas? Oh, nice. Bring them in, Keza. What do you reckon you got? Yeah, that's a nice trevally, man. On the troll as well. Geez, you must have come through a school of them.
With the fish landed, they were handed to me to have a good look at and then keep cool in the icy tech.
Got him. No teeth. Nah. Not like a GT, you know, that has big sharp teeth.
With the lures back out, it was my turn to get yet another species.
Here he is, a spotted mackerel. Beautiful. Let's release him. He's away.
Heading out a bit wider, it was time to change lures.
That's one of the lures I'm going to run. Pink one. Not a massive lure, but just a good size for tuna, Spanish Max, whatever's chewing really. It's got a steel trace on there because or a little bit of a steel trace because Spanish Max have got big sharp teeth. So we'll get that one out. And I'm also running the slightly smaller one. Metal head to get it down, little multicoloured skirt. So we'll get them out there and see what's chewing. Fish on. Oh, we got a double. Got a double hook up. That's a nice fish. Double hook up. That's why you don't troll two lures at the same time. Okay. Oh. He's a nice fish too. Not sure what I'm going to do here. I need a rod holder. Let's try and sit that one. On there. Right, well, it seems to be a bit under control now. This one here is just sitting out there swimming away. This one's got a good bit of pull. Must be a good sized fish. Oh. That is a nice sized tuna. This one's going for a swim around there. Right, let's quickly get this hook out. Beautifully hooked. Have a quick look at him. Here he is. How's that? For a beautiful fish.
The second fish was also a similar size mac tuna, but I lost it at the ski. I decided to put my diving lure back on and head a bit closer to the shelter of land. With all sorts of species about, I figured having different lures out would give me one last chance to get a trophy fish from the beautiful Fraser Island.
Fish on! Boy! Boy. Man, that reel was screaming for a minute there. Not sure what it is. Hopefully we'll find out in a minute. Let's grab the diving lure. I put a diving lure on just to get down below the top. Always pays to have one lure, one skirted lure on the top and one down a bit deeper. I was spotting a bit of sign on the sounder, just down a little bit. So, oh, that is a nice fish. Oh, here he is. Oh, that's a monster. This is the time when the fish are lost. And they get him into the ski. Here he comes. Oh, yeah. And that is a beautiful fish. That's what I've come all this way for. Fraser Island Spanish mackerel. It's what I've come here for. Experiences like this, catching a fish like this on a wave runner at a beautiful, beautiful spot like this. It's been an absolutely fantastic trip. It's been a fantastic season. We'll see you next time.